Hey everyone, it's Dilum here, bringing a review of another amazing tech event happening around the globe, which is Kubernetes Community Day, known as KCDs. KCDs are community organized events that gather adopters and enthusiasts from open source and cloud native communities for education, collaboration, and networking. If you're interested to know where's the closest KCD to you, their official website got a cool map, cover all the events and their details. Now you see on the screen. Visit Cloud Native Foundation's website for more details. Alright, without further ado, let me invite today's guests to the show. Today with me, I've got KCD Sri Lanka organizers to talk about KCDs and the event happening in Sri Lanka, Asia region. I think Kanchana, you are the best person to give us some details about cloud native tech, starting with an intro to yourself.
Hi, Jilom. Thanks for the generous introduction. I'm Kanchana Vikramasinghe. These days, I live and operate out of Melbourne, Australia, but I'm originally from Sri Lanka. I start with a bit of the background as to cloud native technologies. The cloud native technologies go way beyond the Kubernetes days. Starting Kubernetes back in 2014 or so. I guess initiated by AWS, offering a few cloud services. However, with the introduction of AWS, Google, and Azure, these technologies got really complex and advanced, right? With the introduction of Kubernetes back in 2014, made the life a little bit simpler for the cloud native developers and architects. Some would argue the otherwise. It actually can be complex as well. In a cloud native, in a nutshell, what that means is different to how we used to do software development on-prem. On-prem, when we developed software, we had so much restrictions as to what resources we could use, what databases we could use, etc. I think the introduction of with the cloud technology is what it was called elastic, which means if you needed 5 servers instead of the 2 fixed physical servers that you had in your data center, it was possible to extend that without having to commit that in advance, right? So that kind of like laid the foundation of developing applications that can be distributed and go at web scale. Companies like Google, Microsoft, AWS building applications that can be used by millions and millions of users and developers globally, right? That led to kind of starting the cloud native foundation, and it led with, I guess, aggressively with the introduction of the architecture pattern called microservices. So previously we used to develop application in a more monolithic fashion, which means everything that we do, like an HR system or a CRM system, we build all the modules incorporated in a single kind of a box. You have to deploy everything to get all the feature functionality. Even if you have to change something, you have to redeploy the whole thing again, right? And with the cloud native architecture, what it helped was to break this down into smaller chunks. So if you talk about HR system, you would break down as to how people would register or manage the people's details versus they're doing their timesheets or they're doing the payroll, etc. They can be broken down into further smaller chunks and given to different smaller teams to build, deploy, and manage them. Right. Some of these actually not very new. The reason why I'm saying it's very new, this concept has come from the likes of Toyota, introducing things like agile and just-in-time manufacturing, right? So those concepts are borrowed by IT industry to make a distributed application works really well. I can hand over to Camilla to talk a little bit about the Kubernetes and obviously later on Chamod, why we started the Kubernetes meetup 5 years ago in Sri Lanka. Over to you, Dylan.
Yeah, thanks, Kanchana. I think that's a nice brief introduction from what we were doing back then, and how cloud technologies, like became this famous uh, technologies right now today. Yeah, Camila, with introduction to yourself, I would like to hear from you. Like the name itself says KCD. We have this Kubernetes word everywhere. Like everyone is using Kubernetes. Can you give us? Can you enlighten us with this technology? What's Kubernetes, and where who can take advantage of these kind of technologies?
Yeah, so I think uh, back in early days, so we are planning to, when we start to deploy some application, so first thing is to set up a VM and deploy it by using a Oracle VMware or something. So we have tried to deploy it something using a virtual machine. So then according to the resource allocation and all, so they are move on to the containerization concept. So in containerization concept, so as well as the virtual machine size, so we have a hypervisor. So hypervisor manage the resource allocation for RAM, CPU, and all for a particular application we are planning to deploy. So then when we move on to the containerization part, so the hypervisor act as a Docker engine. So Docker engine manage the RAM, the CPU, and all the things related to the particular application. But as well as we don't need separate operating system to run application. So when we are deploying an application to the virtual machine, so separately we need a operating system for the virtual machine as well as for the application side. So when we deploying for the with the Docker and the containerization concept, so we can overcome that one as well. So then the resources side, so there's a cost reduction as well. So when then based on that, so when we deploy bunch of containers, so there's a hassle to deploy like a production environment, right? So then we move on to the orchestration part, so which is all we call about the Kubernetes and all. So by using orchestration side, Dilum, so we can deploy multiple containers within a single pod. So we can deploy application and deployment has a bunch of replicas, which mean pods. So inside the pod, we can run multiple containers, which we call at the moment in nowadays sidecar containers. So likewise, the Kubernetes concept is going on that these formats. So on CNCF side, Dilum, so I think back in 2015 or 16, uh, Google has started this Kubernetes project internally, and they have open source into the Kubernetes project open source, and then the CNCF Foundation the authority to manage Kubernetes project. And nowadays, there's a bunch of cloud native products graduated from CNCF side. So we can say Argo CD, when we talk about monitoring side, Thanos, Grafana, Prometheus, and KEDA, lots of cloud native projects. So in this event as well, so the KCD event, so we are focusing not only the Kubernetes side, so we are cover all things related to the cloud native projects. So that's a pretty idea about it.
I see. All right. Yeah. One more question before I move ahead with Chamod Kancana.
Yeah.
Who should attend this event as per your opinion? Like, for who we organize
Yeah.
this event?
Yeah, so this is the topics are going to be covered from anyone who has even not worked on cloud native. So there will be some basic beginner kind of talks as well, and also advanced. So if you ask me, if it's a software company or a company every company now has software developers and architects inside, right? Whether you're a software company or otherwise. So I think from software engineers, from junior software engineers to senior architects, and even CIOs and CTOs, because there'll be topics that will be interested to CIOs and CTOs as well. So we normally, when we organize these kind of events, we try to cover the full breadth and the depth as well. There will be some sessions that are very, very technical for senior engineers and senior architects to be interested, as well as there will be some stuff at the high level, like business level, that will be relevant to CIOs and CTOs. Yeah. So we kind of taken the similar approach that the CNCF Foundation has taken as well. And I mean, they encourage every country to run these Kubernetes Community Days. And obviously, Sri Lanka happened to be one of them that's been running for the second year now. Last year was virtual, and this year going to be physical. Yeah.
All right, that's nice that you guys cover the entire experience levels. That's nice to hear that there's something for everyone who's in this topic, who's engaging with this topic. So with that, I'll move to Samod. Samod, if you can introduce yourself first and tell us a little bit about the Kubernetes. There should be a community already in Sri Lanka, right? And you guys might have been doing a lot of meetups, events before this. So if you can explain us what's there, because even after this event, if someone is interested in joining with you guys to encourage more people towards these technologies and share their experience, how they can join, and if you guys have any channels, those kind of details.
Okay, Diluk. First, I will go with introducing myself. I'm Chamot Pereira, and I'm one of the organizers of KCD Sri Lanka and Kubernetes Sri Lanka community. So actually, I get into Kubernetes because of the Kubernetes Sri Lanka meetup. I first go to a Kubernetes meetup in 2019 when the generation one of the organizers hosting the Kubernetes meetup. Then I got to learn about Kubernetes technologies, and also I think it's a collaborative event with the Google developer group as well. So and that I feel like this is something really interesting. Like I actually felt love with that. So then I started following Kubernetes, and I learned a lot of things. So when it's come to the current days, like so KCD Sri Lanka 2000 this year KCD Sri Lanka is happening on September 9th in Trace Expert City. So it's actually we welcome everyone from cloud native enthusiasts, and even that could be industry expert or already know about Kubernetes and cloud native technologies, or it can be students who are still studying in universities or high schools. So apart from that, our call for papers is still open. So if you have very interesting topic related to open source or cloud native technology, you can apply to our CFP. You can apply to our CFP. So other than that, we do have a couple of remaining sponsorship opportunities. So if you like to sponsor us and if you want to support for our event, please reach out to us. So that would be really helpful. Yeah. So also I will share the last year highlight video in the last year highlight video as well.
Yeah. You guys will find it in the description of this video in YouTube.
Yeah.
So Samod. So are you guys calling for volunteers as well for this event, or is it going to be a closed for a certain of organizers?
Currently, we have a amazing organizing team. They are actually doing a great job.
All right.
For example, we are organizing like a distributed way, like a microservices. We have organized separately, like different teams, and they are doing different tasks, but act as a great team. Like at the end of the day, this is going to be very successful because we have distributed our work, so there is no hassle. So in terms of volunteers, we have some spaces, so we're gonna recruit few of volunteers soon. So if you are interested, you can stay in touch with our social media hands. Then we'll be able to have you.
All right. So yeah, of course, delegation is the key to anything. So that will definitely work and lead you guys to the success. Yeah, if you are interested about volunteering with this event, again, I'll have the description. I'll have the details in the description. And yeah, anything else that you guys want to highlight about the event? Any timeline? Anything? If you guys happy to highlight, this is the time to that.
I think Chamod covers the date and the venue, etc. This year, because we're doing for the first time physical, we're doing a half a day instead of a full day. Hopefully, we want to see how it goes, and then probably extend depending on the demand and etc. I'm pretty sure that next year that we might ended up doing a 1 day or so. I just want to also highlight the fact that Kubernetes Community Sri Lanka, which is a monthly event that we do virtually mostly, where speakers from globally talk at the event, and that has grown from 0 in 2018 to about nearly 1,600 members, and one of the largest global communities meetups, and backed by CNCF as well. So I think if people are interested, if they happen to miss these, they can still continue to come to those events as well.
All right, that's wonderful, Kancana. That's great. So Chamod, if you can quickly highlight the date and venue, I think with that we can wrap up this review for today.
Okay, sure, Dilum. Yeah. So event is on 9th of September, and the venue is Trace Express City, and we haven't opened registration yet, so stay tuned with us.
All right. So with that, I would like to wrap up this show for today. Thanks to all of you guys for joining to share about this wonderful event with the community. So that's about KCD Sri Lanka 2023, and it's an open invitation to all of you guys who are the enthusiasts of cloud native technologies and cloud technologies to attend KCD Sri Lanka and share your experience and enjoy the day. Links will be there down below in the description area. So thanks for joining with Tech with Dilum today. See you on another review. Thank you.
Thank you.